Hello, everybody, and welcome into this week's edition of the COC Countdown. And man, we've got a slate of games to get to here, and it's been phenomenal to watch the last couple of weeks. Glad football's back, and we welcome you into our Friday night COC breakdown brought to you by Fair Acres YMCA here in Carthage, Tea Time in Webb City, Black Eagle Designs, Ghetto Tacos, Webb City. Robert's Integrative Dentistry in Joplin and the Corner Kick in Neosho. And Wes Underwood coming to you live here in Carthage. And Friday Night Lights are back again. And we here at the Sports Timeout podcast have been waiting for this moment after last week, after a lot of upsets that happened in week 2. But back again for Friday Night Countdown. And before we get to tonight's game of the week, we want to give a little recap of last season, or well, not last season, but last week's games. And then we'll move into the matchups for the week. And yeah, we'll talk predictions on here. So here we go. Last week was week 2, and we did not have some games in the West that fared in the correct decision for me. But overall, Carthage, Neosho, and Republic all won. Joplin was an upset for me, and Webb and Willard also lost last week. Webb City fared really well against Nixa and ended up falling short. But yeah, last week, Carthage dominated yet again as they rolled to a 49-21 victory over Ozark. We saw Carthage score 7 of 8 drives, and they moved to 2-0 on the season. Carthage would open up the first half with a big loss on a first play of the game, and then took control on the first possession of the game after that when Landon West capped off the series, bouncing outside for a 5-yard touchdown with 7:07 on the clock, and that would give them the 7-0 lead. Carthage pushed the lead to 2 scores when Jake Browning, the quarterback, faked a handoff and found wide receiver Landon Bland for a touchdown to make the score 14-0 with 5:56 left in the first half. Quarterback Peyton Russell added a 70-yard touchdown run on the ensuing drive, and that cut the lead to 42-21. We have a lot that happened in this game. Back up here a little bit. Easily hauled in a 4th and 15 pass for a 21-yard touchdown from Ozark. A lot happened there on the defense as they recovered a fumble. And yeah, I mean, just last week's game in general for Carthage was great. They would roll on to win 49-21, and that was the ball game. Next, we have Nixa and Webb City last week. It was a rocky start for the Cardinals as Nixa took the first play from scrimmage 75 yards to the house to open up the scoring. The Cardinals would then fail to convert a 4th and goal attempt from the goal line on their opening drive, but the defense stepped up from there, and Nixa would go up 21-0. After a 3.5-quarter deficit Friday night, Webb City had taken Nix's biggest punch and was still standing. The Cardinals' game plan that had a point to work, and Webb City was on the move late in the 4th quarter, needing 8 points to tie the game. But as the Cardinals crossed the midfield line, Nix's defense stopped Webb City dead in its tracks, and the Eagles escaped with a 28-20 Central Ozark Conference victory at Nixa High School. Defensive lineman Max Gradell for Nixa came in and fought hard, and it was a grind, is what he was able to say. He feels a lot of satisfaction for his guys on the defensive line. And again, that game was really good. The Cardinals kept chipping away. They got closer, and yeah, 55 yards on 17 plays. It was beautiful to watch. Just to see that drive, and then they ended up coming up short. So Slade Hurd also took a pitch from Gabe Johnson took the pitch from senior Gabe Johnson and ran to the left. Hurd lateral to senior Randy Flint. Flint pitched the ball back, and I mean, it's insane. They got a 5-yard touchdown on that in that game, and those were some of the game's highlights in that as well. Goodness gracious. It's just game after game after game and play after play in these two matchups, as we've talked about already. Now we go Neosho at Kickapoo. Neosho would push a 21-0 lead going into the half as both offense and defense did their jobs. Kickapoo's opening drive was halted by an interception. Kickapoo drove to the Neosho 30-yard line on their first possession, but Boston Patterson of Neosho intercepted the Chiefs quarterback Brooks Easton, setting up the Neosho first scoring drive. Another Kickapoo turnover would follow, leading to a Neosho score. Easton was later strip sacked, and Bryce Warren recovered the fumble, placing Neosho's offense at the Kickapoo 1-yard line, leading to another touchdown for the Wildcats. Neosho's dominant first quarter gave them a 20-0 lead at the end of quarter one. And in quarter two, after Kickapoo's first touchdown, Neosho Cade Spiva threw an interception that Kickapoo returned to their 3-yard line. However, the Chiefs fumbled the ball at the 1-yard line, and with just over a minute left in the half, preventing them from scoring again. It was insane to hear about and listen to on the radio last week, and I feel for that fan base right now up in Kickapoo. But following the Kickapoo fumble, Neosho executed a 99-yard drive, including a 77-yard pass from Spiva to Patterson to extend their lead to 35-13 with just 2 minutes, 27 seconds remaining in the game. Neosho would go on to win this one. Next up, we head to Lebanon as they took on Joplin last week in a thriller. Joplin's Travion McCadney rushed for 179 yards, 5 touchdowns, as Lebanon's Elisha Simmons rushed for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns on 7 carries. This game went back and forth. 3 big plays factor into Lebanon winning this one, as Lebanon had a big pick play in the first quarter, which led to a short drive that led to a touchdown. Then their running back also had a 77-yard run by sophomore Elisha Simmons, who rushed for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns, as we have mentioned there in the game. And this would give the Yellow Jackets a significant boost. This play would go along with a kick return for a touchdown by Josiah Simmons, and he contributed to Lebanon's win as well. And it just seemed like Lebanon was able to get in great critical points of the game and do their job, and they were able to come out on top. The fourth quarter was a great one as Joplin would come up short, falling 38-33 as Joplin got the ball back and tried to redeem themselves. Next up, Republic went to Waynesville. And there was no defense here from Waynesville as Republic had their way all night long. And the decisive victory was not unexpected given the pregame rankings that had been out. Republic entered the game ranking 15th in Missouri, while Waynesville was ranked 148th, indicating a major disparity in talent and experience. This talent advantage was evident on both sides of the ball and highlighted by several notable individual performances. Republic's defensive line, anchored by players like Mason Whitworth, Ethan Montiel, and just the effectiveness of that defense was being able to control how they controlled the game, allowing Waynesville almost nothing on the ground. The defense consistently pressured Waynesville, forcing a repeated 3-and-out over and over multiple times, and the offense with favorable field position, Caleb Norman's 25-yard fumble return for a touchdown was the turning point that highlighted this defense's ability to capitalize on Waynesville's mistakes. And Glendale hosted Willard. And boy, we have an interesting one here. That's up next. Sorry to kind of roughly do that here. Got some horns going on as we're live on location here at Carthage. And man, people just honking and honking. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it's getting me. But yeah, quarterback Preston McCracken was highly efficient, completing 4 of 6 passes for 169 yards and a touchdown, while also rushing for 65 yards. Running back Owen Kyler added another 66 rushing yards and a touchdown to Republic's ground attack. And the offense demonstrated its explosiveness through plays like McCracken's 66-yard touchdown pass to Cannon Ellison. And the special teams unit was another key factor in this lopsided victory as well. Kieran Govin, kind of looks like Golovin, but it's Govin's blocked punt was in the first quarter, and that set the tone for the game. Tristan Burks also contributed with a long kickoff return in the second half, which led to another score. And our final matchup was Glendale and Willard. In this matchup, Glendale's receiver dominance was key as Glendale's wide receiver duo, Joel Rover and Trevor Heeman, proved to be major turning points in this matchup. Heeman 71-yard touchdown reception early in the first quarter set the tone for Glendale's offense. Despite being double teamed for much of the game, Rover still managed to score touchdowns, two of which were lengthy. Another big point in the game was a fumble from Willard's Isaac Lacrosse, who lost control of the ball for a fumble. And I mean, Glendale recovered it, but turnover likely impacted the flow of the great game. And Glendale's offensive production in this one, quarterback Cash Newberry had a highly efficient performance, completing 18 to 21 passes for 410 yards and 6 touchdowns. This offensive explosion at Glendale's home field ultimately decided the contest by halftime, Glendale leading 28 to 6. Willard's quarterback Tyler Davis, he was featured in this game carrying the ball, attempting throws against the Falcons defense. However, the team struggled to find consistent success, ending their losing streak or extending their losing streak to 9 games and dropping their record to 0-2. So for the West, I mean, things are just going as is. And heading into week 3, your West standings, Carthage at 2-0. Neosho at 2-0, Webb City at 1-1, Joplin at 1-1, Republic at 1-1, and Willard at 1-1. Over in the East, your dominance in Nixa, they're at 2-0. Then you got Lebanon, Glendale, Ozark, all at 1-1, Kickapoo at 0-2, and Waynesville at 0-2. And your bottom 3 and your top 3 are kind of dominant at the moment, and we'll see after tonight if that remains full heading into this week's matchups. And plenty of fun matchups last week. Now we talk this week's matchups. Last week we talked about how the rain would affect some of the outcomes. We saw a lot of run games early on. This week temperatures are blaring, but looking for cooler weather to roll in around the fourth quarter of most of these games tonight. A strong northern wind is what we're feeling here in Carthage tonight. And I can tell you what, that's going to be all over the 4 states this evening, even up through Springfield. We're going to see winds blowing, and yeah, it's insane. It's strong it's looking like the flags are going northeast, pushing from the northeast. So it's going to be fun to watch matchups tonight. That's going to affect the kicking games for sure. It always does in the 4 states. You always have a strong wind, and that factors into these. But all right, first match we have Battle of the Beatons, and that's between 0-2 Willard and 0-2 Waynesville. Both teams have really struggled on both sides of the ball, but Willard has found the end zone a few times, and Waynesville has only found it once. I have Willard winning at home tonight for their first win of the season, and Waynesville falls to 0-3. 1-1 Republic hosts Ozark, who is also 1-1. Republic bounced back last week and returns home tonight. Ozark had a tough week too at Nixa. I have to go with the Tigers here. I have to go with the Tigers. Neosho, we go there. They improved to 2-0 last week and will host Lebanon, who is 1-1 and got a huge win against Joplin last week. This one will be fun, but I have Neosho moving on to 3-0 as Lebanon falls in Neosho tonight. And then as we move on to our next one, we have 0-2 Kickapoo heading to 1-1 Webb City. Webb City showed a lot of effort last week at Nixa, wound up losing by 8 in the final quarter. Kickapoo has just been bruised and beaten up and down, and I have Webb City moving to 2-1 this evening. If something happens dramatically, then that may change. But as of right now, a healthy team, healthy offense and defense, I got Webb City at home. Over to Joplin, we have the 1-1 Eagles hosting the 2-0 Eagles of Nixa. Nixa proved to be human last week as Webb City and their big running back, or as Webb City got to their big running back, and their running back suffered a few injuries. So Joplin's defense has done well. On the offensive side, they fared well as well. So I am really split on this one, but I want to take Joplin at home as the one comes up for revenge from a year ago, and also two big turnovers happen in this one. I think Joplin's defense is capable of doing that. I think their offense is capable of scoring, and I think that Joplin can win at home. Will it be a close one? I would hope so. I think so. And lastly, this game here, the game of the week, I have 2-0 Carthage versus 1-1 Glendale. As we talked about Glendale there at the end, Carthage has been dominant in both performances thus far, offensively, defensively as well. And for Glendale, they lost one in overtime in week one and rebounded last week with a great overall team effort. And all that being said, I think I'm going to go with another home team tonight, and I got to go the Carthage Tigers. I just have them coming out on top here at home. People getting here early, things looking good. The wind, I mean, they've been able to practice out in this all day today. I don't know what Glendale's been able to do. Glendale is a team that's proven me wrong in the past. They used to be in the same conference with Joplin, and I watched them upset Joplin several times over the years. But that's who I'm going with tonight. That's this week's show. Be sure to tune in to next week's show as we recap the games from the week before and give predictions on the matchups of the week. I'm Wes Underwood. Special thank you to our sponsors, Fair Acres YMCA here in Carthage. Go check out their page for what they've got going on right now. Swim teams getting signed up. The season begins next week. Um, and then we've got Tea Time in Web City, Black Eagle Designs, who gave us these awesome polos. We also have Ghetto Tacos in Web City. Be sure to get over there before 8 o'clock tonight to get your tacos before or during the game. And then Robert's Integrative Dentistry in Joplin. If you're looking for that brighter, straighter smile, get on over there today. And then the Corner Kick in Neosho. If you're looking for some football needs, go down there and get your gear. And if you're traveling long distance tonight, please remember to not drink or text and drive. Return home to your loved ones safely. And again, that's this week from the COC Showdown. We got there's our sponsors up there. KF5, Kendall Forbes, the one who got hurt, supporting her. So from here at David Hafner in Carthage, we will see you all next week on the COC End Zone Show.